Hey scrappers, it's Tom from the iScrap app, and today is Wednesday, which means it's our time for our weekly report on YouTube and on Facebook. What are we going to talk about today? Market news, market updates, what you should expect at your scrapyard, and how you can make more money with your scrap. Follow me, let's go talk scrap. Have questions about scrap? Time to ask them now. Let's go. iScrappers, Tom from the iScrap app, and today is Wednesday, July 21st, 2021, and we hope that you are super excited to hear about scrap, to hear about the market, and really to get a good grasp on different economic situations that affect the scrap metal market. Now, first and foremost, thank you for joining. We like to go live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. So if you have a question for us, by all means, post it, whether you're on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. We want to be able to answer your questions and help you make more money with your scrap. So if you're looking for more information, let's jump right into it and let's talk about the scrap market. Over the last week, it's been a very strange week, and I'll tell you why. Not many times can you say, well, we saw the biggest drop in the stock market in 8 months this week, and then the next 2 days erased the entire decline. And that's what happened Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. At one point on Monday, we saw the stock market dropping over 1,000 points. We saw copper prices down 15 cents a pound. We saw a massive piece of news coming out of the Middle East with the OPEC plus Russia included in there, talking about pumping more oil out. And that information came out on Sunday. Now, when that information came out, coupled with the coronavirus Delta variant that's going on right now, what we started to see was a big problem because the markets got spooked. People were no longer talking about vaccines. And on Monday, we saw the stock market drop over 1,000 points amid renewed concerns about lockdowns and shutdowns. That's what really spooked the market. And of course, that carried over into the copper side of things, the steel side of things, as oil and gas prices affect so many different metals, so many different markets, and so many different workflows. You know, we talk about supply chain in the past, and while you're out there scrapping, you are part of the supply chain that's fueling the entire metal system. You're taking metal, bringing it to a scrapyard, who brings it to a larger scrapyard, a smelting mill, an operation that's shredding material, exporting material. That goes to a factory, which melts it down, repurposes it into new cast iron radiators, bar stock, I-beams, flat rolled, cold rolled steel. Then it goes in, becomes a car, which 10 to 12 years from now, you will go and cash in. Of course, you'll sell that cat to rrcats.com. But when you look at the supply chain in a macro point of view, right, when you take an economic point of view from it, you say, okay, how are all of these things interconnected? And I was talking to my brother-in-law the other day just about oil prices. And when the different OPEC countries announced that they were going to start producing so much more oil, what happened was a domino effect through the industry. You know, oil prices went below $70 a barrel. We should be expecting to see lower gas prices going into the fall, but it's going to take a little while because as that first domino block happens, we're already down the road. So we pay attention to these things and how they affect the scrap metal prices and the industry. So when we saw the big declines coming on Monday, well, that quickly got erased as earnings started to happen. And because the second quarter of earnings were so strong from so many companies, when you compare second quarter of 2020, right, which was when the whole lockdown stuff went on and people got laid off, PPP was happening, that was the second quarter versus the second quarter of 2021, massively different results. Those big result changes is what really is starting to spur some of the economic activity. What we're looking for now is where those metal prices are going to move going into the third quarter and into the fourth quarter. Now, with copper prices really staying stable, we did get a little miffed out because the Chinese announced that they were going to put more material into the worldwide economy. They were going to take more of their copper from the side and bring it into the markets, and they were expecting to lower the prices. Well, the opposite happened. Maybe the price, maybe not the opposite, but a different reaction happened where the markets really were unchanged. They said, oh, okay, you're adding more copper. That's good, but we need it. So we're not going to downgrade the price of copper because, well, we need more of it. So what we've seen right now is a stabilization of the copper and aluminum prices and many other non-ferrous prices leading into the end of the summer. We're halfway through July, and with 6 weeks left, we normally see a slower economic movement during the summer. Traders are on vacation, people are taking time off. A lot of mills, melting plants, manufacturing facilities normally in real life, outside of this post-COVID world, would have already been shutting equipment down, servicing things, and getting ready for the third and the fourth quarters, really ramping into the holidays. But what we've seen now is so many companies were able to rehab, refinish, and redo their machines in 2020, the second half of 2020, the first half of 2021. The manufacturing process, it hasn't really been shut down. I deal with a company that does battery recycling. Every summer for the last few years, they shut their plant down for multiple weeks so they can service their equipment. They haven't shut it down this summer because they were servicing it for a long period of time when not a lot of material was coming in. So there's been all of these different things that have been happening. And when we look at things like batteries, lead, aluminum, copper, and all other metals, they all have these different impacts that come from outside influences. And what we're trying to do is piece them all together. Question.
Do you see aluminum staying the course, or could we see all-time highs?
I think that we're going to see all-time highs on aluminum. Aluminum has been the belle of the ball when it comes to 2021, in my opinion. While the prices of aluminum are always going to be much cheaper than copper and brass would be, we're seeing prices reported that are really crazy. From a scrap yard side of view, it's weird to be paying more than 30 or 40 cents for a product that we've been paying that for so many years. But here we are seeing aluminum sheet, aluminum siding prices in the 45 to 65 cent range. Higher grades of aluminum that you can learn about through the iScrapApp.com, you can find 6063 pricing at 90 cents a pound in some places. And because the aluminum prices are strong, there's other byproducts in other industries and other materials that you're getting stronger prices for. Example, aluminum copper radiators. It is the middle of the summer, right? I actually had my air conditioner serviced yesterday so it wouldn't break down and one of you wouldn't be looking for the broken one on the side of the road. And when I talked to the contractors, they told me that they are so busy right now and so many units are getting broken that they don't even have time to process them. But when they do have time to process them, when you have those clean ACRs, aluminum copper radiator, aluminum's up, copper's up, you marry the two together, they make a really nice baby. That's worth a hell of a lot more money than it was a few months ago. Another question.
Computer heat sinks are zinc aluminum. So what category of aluminum should they be sorted into, and what would be the price for a heat sink?
So generally heat sinks that are coming off of laptops or computer towers or servers will be dirty for one reason. The glue that's put on them that either holds the heat sink to the CPU or sometimes to the circuit board generally will downgrade it to a sheet aluminum. If you're only dealing with a few different laptops or computer towers, we suggest not trying to get some type of special price, but throw it into your sheet aluminum mix because the juice is not going to be worth the squeeze in this case unless you're dealing with hundreds, if not thousands of pounds of heat sinks. Just leave it like a sheet aluminum and be on with your day. Any other questions while we're doing these live updates, please let us know. We're going to be doing a couple of new things today, but before we do the new things, one thing we want to remind you of, we have tools from DeWalt that we're giving away from people that join our Patreon group in July and in August. With different tiers of levels, by becoming a Patreon member, you're going to be able to give yourself the opportunity to learn more about the markets, learn more about the scrap prices, and if you join our upper tiers, you'll be entered for brand new in the box reciprocating saw, along with some some blades that go with it that will help you make more money with your scrap. So please become a Patreon supporter of ours today, which enables us to do more videos like this, more third-party content that we push out there, and we're really excited to do all those videos. Any questions right now?
Let's do one more. My scrapyard is giving 30 cents a pound for aluminum cans. Is that good or bad?
Aluminum can price at 30 cents is what I would call PU stinky. You're about half of where the national average is, which is in the 52 to 53 cent range. So 30 cents a pound is a great deal for the scrapyard and a really bad deal for you. We suggest using the iScrap app to find a couple of yards in your area. And if you look behind me, we have our image of our newest iScrap app 2.0, which is going to be released in like 2 weeks. Shh. So when the new app comes out, what is it going to do? It's going to give you more prices, more price history, the ability to post your prices more. And what we've done is learned what you want us to talk about, what you want, what tools you want inside of an app for the metal industry. And we've built it specifically for you, the scrapper. So we're really excited. Another question.
We have a question from Instagram.
Great, Instagram, let's do it.
Copper going back up? Question mark.
Yeah, I don't know if copper is going to go back up right now. I wouldn't predict that through the summer copper prices are going to go up. I believe that we're going to kind of see copper staying where it is for the balance of the summer. And a couple of reasons that I say that, we've now had 2 injections of copper from the Chinese government. So back in May when it happened, we saw that deep decline of 50 cents in 1 week. Now it happened again this week and we haven't seen any decline other than the stock market drop that happened on Monday, but we did see those prices recover yesterday and today. Maybe we're down 3 cents for the week. But with the oil news coming out that the oil and gas prices are going to be a little cheaper, with some of the other news cycles that are coming out economic wise, I don't think that for the balance of the summer going into September, we're going to see much movement on copper. Thank you very much for the question. We appreciate it. Now, with these markets, we know that you have questions and we're looking to answer them. So make sure you're asking those questions during our live feed so we can help you learn about the scrap industry from not only a scrapper's point of view, because I also scrap when I'm out there walking the dog, walking with my kids, going to job sites. I'm looking for scrap all the time. And I have a really unique perspective because I also own a scrapyard, and being part of the iScrap app has given me the opportunity to really connect with users and viewers of the iScrap app. And then when I can compare that to scrapyard customers that we have here at Rockaway Recycling, it just gives us a unique perspective. And we love to share that perspective to give you more transparency into the markets. Now, this week, are we ready to do our, all right. So this week we're gonna start doing this. I do not know what's inside this bucket. So we have our bucket of the week, right? We have our iScrap branded bucket. We didn't pay $5 for this, not one of those orange guys. This came in scrap and the customer left it. So I don't know what's in here. I'm gonna reach inside. It could be little, it could be big. And we're just gonna talk about it for a couple of minutes. If there are suggestions that you would like us to talk about in the future, let anyone know here at iScrap by sending us a message through any of our social media programs. All right, so I'm touching it, and it is a backup battery charging unit. Look at this battery charger. This is an old school one. You can tell by some of the dials that are on it. So immediate reactions. Customer cut the wire cord off. That's really great. You're going to make more money that way. Now, when I feel this unit and I look inside, I can actually see that there's a copper transformer inside. Now, one thing I don't like about a unit like this, I like the newer ones that have backup batteries built into them, and that's probably why a customer scrapped this, because those backup batteries, when they're built in, it's a real easy win. We always talk about little wins here at iScrap and trying to figure out how you can make more money. The newer ones have a compartment on the bottom where you can slide it off, pull that battery out. And some of the newer ones that you use to charge your cars also have USB ports on them, so there will be circuit boards inside. So a unit like this, without knowing it, you could easily feel that it's about 3 pounds. There's probably a 1 or 2 pound transformer inside. And we've shown you videos before on how to take transformers apart. So taking a unit like this apart is going to make you more money for a couple of reasons. 3 or 4 pounds with plastic on the outside, you're going to end up, throwing it into a CBM pile, which stands for copper bearing material, and maybe get 5 to 10 cents a pound. But by spending a few minutes taking this piece apart, the transformer inside is probably 2 to 3 pounds. It's probably worth $1. If you cut it apart, it might be $2 just from the copper value. But on the bottom of this, you're also going to have a low-grade board. And from what I can see through some of these slots, there's another piece of aluminum inside that you can scrap and some smaller pieces of wire and a couple of brass connectors. And I know that a lot of you scrappers, when I look at some of your posts online, you always talk about winter work and you talk about different things that you take apart when you have nothing else to do. These low-grade units that you might only sell for 15 to 50 cents total, not even per pound, but total sometimes. These are really good things for you to be able to put off to the side, and we call it winter work. And if we haven't written blogs about winter work, we'll write a couple of pieces of advice that we have for things that are not worth taking apart when you're busy. But when it's raining, when it's snowing out, we'll give you some ideas on things that you can put aside to make more money. And then we'll show you how to take those things apart so you learn more about them. We have any more questions?
If you want to go into steel.
I'd love to talk about steel prices. Let's ask a question and we'll lead it in.
Are steel wheels with the tire accepted at scrapyards?
Oh boy, steel wheels with the tires on them are a really tough call because I know at my scrapyard, we dislike rubber tires because we're not really recycling cars here and our outlet is a little more expensive than other people. We suggest that you talk to your local scrapyard because a lot of yards will take aluminum or steel wheels with the tire on it, but they're either going to charge you a tire disposal fee or take the unit for nothing. Where by finding a used tire machine that you can pop the tire off, or working with your local auto mechanic where you might be able to work a deal out with him where you move his steel, you move his old rotors, you sell his cats to rrcats.com, and you're able to work with them, separating those two things is going to help you make more money. Now, while we're on the steel topic right now, we saw those oil prices go down, which we've now talked about a couple of times. And with the oil prices going down, we do expect to see a weakening steel market going into August. In the last 3 weeks, we've seen at least 2 price decreases, a total of $20 per ton on average across the board for most materials. Now, certain areas of the country have not seen a price decrease, but you should expect one, especially going into August. Now, we do have a very strong demand right now, and that's going to help keep a lot of the steel prices propped up, which is going to be a really good piece of news going into the fall when school's back in session. People are going back into the office away from that work from home stuff, and it's just going to be a different market going into the end of the third and the fourth quarter. So hopefully the steel prices remain. Now, scrappers, we know there are all types of things that we can talk about week to week. We try to touch on a couple of things every week, and if there's more that you want us to talk about, let us know. We try to talk about basic non-ferrous items. We try to talk about macro events like oil prices and larger things that are going on outside of political prowess. We also like to talk about the steel markets. Now, that thing we're going to talk about today is catalytic converters. Now, of course, rrcats.com is quoting thousands of people for their catalytic converters. And one of the things that we've been most proud of is how long we hold the price quotes for. We had a customer earlier today say, hey, your competitor's offering $20 more, but we have to get the cat there within 1 day. Where rrcats.com, we give you 7 business days from the second you receive the quote to shipping that cat out with most likely a free shipping label and getting paid really quickly. Now, rrcats.com offers things like photo grading where we can give you a quote for your cat just based on the picture, but serial numbers are always better. Now, when you're looking to learn more about catalytic converters, if you're going to iScrap app, we have 3 different categories, rhodium, palladium, and platinum, where you can learn about those metal prices. We also have about 10 different mixed material items from the catalytic converter world that gives you a basic idea on grades. Now, the best way to get prices, send serial numbers, take really great pictures, sign up for the newsletter through rrcats.com, because the catalytic converter market really changes so quickly. A month ago, rhodium was at $28,000 an ounce, and today it's less than $18,000 an ounce. So with big market movement, you always want to be up to date and know that you can work with a buyer that's not only going to hold prices, but more importantly, pay you quickly. Another question.
A little bit unrelated, but can you tell the difference between red brass and semi-red brass?
Yeah, red brass and semi-red brass, you're going to want to have an analyzer. Pure red brass is going to be about a 90 to 92% copper rate, where semi-red is going to be in the 86 to 88%. And if you don't have an active XRF, or you don't work with a scrapyard that has one of the analyzers, you can see them, they put the wrist straps on, they're kind of big and bulky. If you don't have one of those, you're not going to be able to know, but red brass should be that 90, 92%. Semi-red is going to be a little less copper inside, but most scrapyards are going to group the two together, either pay out a red brass or a bronze price, depending on what their wording is, and hopefully that will help you out. In the coming weeks, we're going to have a couple of videos talking about different alloys, how they're put together, how they're made, how you can sell them, and just giving you a difference between alloys and metals in a video form, just to teach you more about the metal industry. So when you're out there scrapping, you can ask more educated questions from your scrap yard instead of just asking questions that might not make sense or might be a little confusing. Now, scrappers, don't forget, every Wednesday at 1 p.m., we like to go live and do our weekly report to let you know what's going on with the markets. Next week, we're not going to be doing a live report, but we are going to be doing a first half of the 2021 recap, giving you our opinions on the markets, if they were positive, if they were negative, and what we think is going to happen the second half of 2021. If you have not become a Patreon supporter of ours, please make sure to go to our supporter page, become one so we can produce more content. And if you're one of our upper tiers, you're going to qualify to win a free tool from DeWalt. Scrappers, this is Tom from the iScrap app, and today is Wednesday, July 21st, 2021. Scrap well, scrap off, and until next time, I'll scrap you later.